Good morning. How are you this morning? I wanted to share something a little bit different today. So, in my usual morning messages, I've been offering different insights and different thoughts on um, things that are coming up within the world, within my life, within those of in the lives around me. And one thing that has really shown up quite a lot lately, both personally and professionally, and in my work as well as my intimate relationships, is when something happens, when someone does something that you perceive to be a slight, or it hurts your feelings, or upsets you in some way, when you have some sort of feeling that comes up at that moment, that's your first signal and sign to stop, to pause, and to really feel into what that is. And I think I've mentioned this before, there's a saying in the Course in Miracles, I'm not quoting it, but it's close to the point of you're never upset with or at what you think you are. So let's just say someone pulls out in front of you in traffic, okay? You're not, yes, you're upset. Maybe that was rude. You can perceive it however you want, but you don't know where that other person is coming from. You don't know what's going on in their life, but there's something in you that gets triggered or activated. And it could be a wound from something that happened last week, or it could be something that happened when you were 2 or 3 that you've been carrying all these years. And this one incident is just enough, or a combination of similar incidences are enough to get you really upset. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you blow something completely out of proportion, either in your mind or with the other person, where you completely overreact to something that's small, but in the moment felt really, really big? Have you ever had to go and apologize to somebody for something that you said or did because you had such a strong reaction or response in the moment? That's showing you that there's something within you. There's some aspect or wound within you that needs attention. That does not let the other person off the hook, if you will. They're still responsible for their behavior, but you're responsible for yours. You're responsible how you receive what they are giving, and you're responsible for how you respond or react. So the question that I get asked most is, okay, well, I can maybe pause, and I can maybe take a moment, and I can maybe not fly off the handle, but how do I get to the root of it? How do I understand what that is? How do I remember in those moments to pause and to take a moment? And the key to this, and I believe maybe a couple weeks ago I did a video about a little bit about this sort of practice and the questions that you ask. I'll see if I can find it and include it in the description so you can take a look at that. But it's really just having an awareness of the feeling when it comes up, having the awareness of that moment when you're like getting ready to launch an attack, and just taking a breath, just taking a pause. And you'll find that once you begin doing that, the times when you react instead of respond are going to be less. You're going to be able to recognize, oh, I see what's happening. I can feel it. I now know, so I can make a different choice. I can do this differently. I can navigate this differently. And it puts you in an empowered position for yourself. It puts you in a position where you feel like you have a semblance of control over how you present yourself in the world, over how you feel, over how you learn and navigate from that place. I've been practicing this, wouldn't say successfully, for a few years, and I have now begun to recognize there are certain triggers, there are certain feelings, deep-seated insecurities that come up when I feel like I'm not being, not me, but my feelings are not being honored, when I feel like I am not being heard or respected, and by males in my life in particular. That's a huge one. That's a deep, deep wound that comes from early in my childhood, and probably past lives too, if you subscribe to that belief system. So it's it's having that awareness, it's having that recognition, and having a deeper understanding of who you are and what feels good to you and what doesn't feel good to you. Having boundaries and having clear sense of what's okay and not okay for you, and standing firm and strong in your beliefs, in what is important to you. Not allowing anyone to come in too far when they're not welcome, and also not keeping people too far away that they can't be there when you need them, and vice versa. I mean, it's a two-way street when it comes to relationships. It's that give and take. It's a constant dance between people, and it's a beautiful thing when you're in step, when you're in sync. But when you're not, it's really difficult, and you get all twisted up and tangled up, and things feel harder and they feel more difficult. So it always starts with you. It always starts with where you are, what you need, having a clear understanding of what's important to you, of who's important to you. And I think this time in history has given us a chance to really go into that place even more deeply and have a better understanding of ourselves. Therefore, we can be our best selves when we're out in the world, when we're engaging with people that we love and that we care about, and really then can make such a huge difference and impact in the world. So that's the message for today. I would love to hear your thoughts. How does this feel to you? Does this resonate with you? Does it not? Do you have questions about it? Like practical questions, not something I maybe did not address. I would love to know, either in the comments or feel free to direct message me if you would like as well. And I will see you here tomorrow. I forgot to mention in my video yesterday, the journal pages for week 10 are now up, along with links to weeks 1 through 9 if you missed those. So plenty of pages for you to look at. And I also have a 40-minute masterclass that's still available online at bit.ly bit.ly/SL Feel Better Fast. That's SL stands for Soulful Life, and then Feel Better Fast. It's all you have to do is just put your name and email address in, and it takes you directly to the masterclass. You have access to it. So lots of tips and strategies and things to help you when you feel overwhelmed and in that really twisted up place, and might be helpful if you are beginning to practice the awareness piece and the recognition of when you get activated or triggered or stirred up by things that are happening around you. Okay, I will sign off for now. I will see you here tomorrow. Remember, we learn from one another. Bye for now.